Howdy doody, this is our Killing Eve review. We hadn't forgotten. It was just gay pride and everyone was busy having such a great time being gay. My mum's gay, so we can say that. So yeah, Nadia had a lovely time. She did watch half of this episode, but she's playing catch up because she got back late and she had a party. She was tired. So she passed out. I was being polite. I was letting her off with dignity, but actually she passed out. She kept farting and it smelt of chips.
Did she? I didn't notice.
Yeah, all the time. Anyway, so Killing Eve, episode 5. I think if you followed any of our reviews, you may have seen that it's been...
Up and down.
Well, it's been up and down, but you've been a much more up with the whole series, haven't you? Do you think it's as good as the first series?
No.
Why?
Because too many ideas are being rehashed.
Regurgitated, aren't they?
Yeah, and plus the fact... Something that rested the first series on this sort of amazingly outre way to kill people,
I love
which
that
it
word.
did.
Say it again.
Outre.
That's what I love. That you bring to this channel a certain kind of intellectual class.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Do you like my Donald Trump hair? No, I can't say. No, but you can't keep on doing that.
No.
And also...
I think it's really late. I mean, I
personally
personally
should have done a second series.
Well, I think there are some things where you shouldn't do a second series. I don't think the creative team shouldn't necessarily make another show.
No.
But maybe recreate a different show in a different environment.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see why, because Jodie Comer in this character is irresistibly watchable.
She is.
And you can almost think, well, why wouldn't you want to just put her on screen for an entire series?
Yeah.
I personally, before we get into this episode, I just think it's labouring under the duress of not being able to have all those original question marks there, which are, what is their relationship? Is she thrilled by her? Is it a frisson of excitement?
Yeah.
What is their sort of beef with each other?
Let me just put something forward there before we go. Now, you just said something interesting, because you said, and I agree with it, Jodie Comer is incredibly watchable. You almost can't take your eyes off her. But I feel like that about Sandra Oh as well. No, I know you don't. But what I would be interested to know is if there's anybody out there that feels that. Because if you do feel that, I do.
Yeah.
Then I can sense when we're all watching it that when Sandra Oh's on screen,
I think
they're
you're right.
losing these. But she's not losing me. So in that respect,
I think you're right. I mean, I noticed that as soon as Sandra... I mean, it is almost as soon as Sandra Oh's on camera, an irascibility creeps into our lounge.
Yeah, which is most unfair, I think, because she has to be that... She stayed the same... stayed the same character.
I don't entirely agree. I think she's become more self-conscious. I don't necessarily think she's professionally trying to catch Jodie Comer up. Here's the thing. Most things that are successfully cultish never set out to be cultish, and that's how they become cultish.
Exactly.
This became a cult hit. They're trying to replicate that. That's why it's, it's doing a good enough job,
bit laboured on the
but
edges.
It's creaking at the edges. Jodie Comer's performance and the person was a cult hit. We didn't see it coming. No one saw her coming. And boom, we're all surprised by it. Sandra Oh was well established in an already cult series in America, wasn't it? What was the series?
I've forgotten, but Grey's Anatomy was it?
Yeah, Grey's Anatomy. And so she managed to sort of achieve that in a British way in the first series, and I do think she's kind of playing catch up. Now, I don't necessarily think she's being particularly well serviced by the script, though. Or the story.
The script, I think, is a problem.
It's asking her to do the same stuff again. I think it's asking them all to do the same stuff again, but because Villanelle's stuff is so extraordinary, it's the most arresting. Whereas all Sandra Oh's got to work with is her husband, Fiona Shaw, and looking mystified into windows and mirrors.
I think what I feel though about Sandra Oh is that, and that I feel you guys don't, is that her relation, like you've put somewhere, overplaying Eve's gradual psychopathy. How do you say it? Psychopathy. I think she's infatuated differently to the way Jodie Comer is with her. Yeah. Jodie Comer wants a mother, the same as she wanted a mother in the first one. And she's actually got somebody who's just like her mother.
Yeah.
Sorry. And so that is the relationship between them. But from Sandra Oh's position, okay, she stabbed her and she doesn't know what that makes her. Yeah. But I find all of that and the fact that she feels bad for feeling excited about this.
But this is all
it's
the
all written
but that's
on her face, I think.
No, I agree. But I go so far as to say I think even Sandra Oh is struggling a little bit to bring something new to what she'd done very well in the first series.
Yeah, maybe.
She's doing it again. Yeah. She's trotting out the same scene. I feel like I'm
she
watching carbon.
Sorry.
No, I feel like she's almost trotting out even the same carbon copy scenes with her husband. The frisson when she gets the frisson with him, so they go upstairs. Yeah. She's not interested.
She is more relaxed when she's acting with others, actually. It's true, than when she's on her own. So.
Well, anyway, so this episode starts with another brilliantly lurid and kind of incidental, and I think that's the charm of the murders, isn't it? They're incidental. Incidental murder in a car wash. she gets into a car and destroys a man whilst it's going.
Yeah.
Doesn't she? I think that's
Blood
great,
everywhere.
very good. Yeah.
Blood on the inside, water on the outside.
And presumably just yet another job. Just another.
Yes.
She's a jobbing assassin.
Yeah.
And this is just another one of her jobs. And then we then cut to the fact that at the end of the last episode they'd caught the ghost. And we talked a lot about our disappointment that the ghost. We saw it, didn't see it flagged, signposted.
No.
But that it just felt a bit clumsy. It suddenly happened and was resolved.
She suddenly.
Well, I still don't think the ghost has added anything.
No.
Do you?
No, unless...
Well, I mean, what has the ghost actually added to this episode? Because then we had this scene where they were interrogating her and then Eve faced her. And you have these... There's nothing you can do wrong with a shot where a character who's you know, a good actress or actor looking directly into camera. But I am getting a little bit concerned it's become a stylistic trope that everyone's throwing out now. Just look into camera,
Yeah.
and defocus the background, and boom, that's enough.
Yeah. With the ghost, though, it was left on a knife edge with the ghost, so we don't know whether she might yet play a part.
Well, it was left on a knife edge, but if I'm honest, I'm finding the ghost bloody irritating and bloody annoying. Really funny moment where they were outside the Tate Modern.
Yeah.
Where she was just staring at one of those statue men.
Yeah.
She does do just staring vacantly, and yet not vacantly, frighteningly, doesn't she?
Yeah, because that's very clever. The whole character is clever because you just don't know what's going on in her brain, how she's translating that.
No, and then
she's going to appear as a...
Yeah, exactly. And then Constantine, she shouts at Constantine so suddenly that she makes him jump out of his skin. And I love those little abstract moments, those little flurries, those totally, there's no need in the script for them to just have these little moments of almost
I love
surrealism.
the affection between them, which is
I do too.
crackers because they tried to kill each other.
I know. I want Constantine in my life. It's almost hurts how much I want him in my life.
Yeah, he's
it
very,
hurts
very
my chest.
wantable. Yeah.
But for that, I might be why I feel a bit anxious.
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
It's either that or Forky. So Eve decides to make herself the target. Now, I'm going to say something really stupid here. This was a major narrative moment in this episode, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Are you sure you should make yourself the target? As far as I'm concerned, she's always been the bloody target.
I know.
So that didn't feel like that achieved what it was supposed to achieve. I mean...
And all the sort of shock and horror from Jodie Comer's point of view. What? Eve, I can't do that. Come on, that's been the point of the whole series.
I'm pleased you felt that, because I thought...
No, I know.
Am I missing something here? Because
yeah.
this was not news.
No, it wasn't news.
And then when you had Fiona Shaw's son saying, I don't think you should, and then he gets sacked. And all that kind of... I thought...
We're looking out for you, we're looking out for you. All of that seemed a bit ridiculous.
This episode suffered with the lack of Fiona Shaw. I just can't get too much Fiona Shaw and Constantine. Nice little addition was the actor from Four Lions. Sorry, I forget his name, but he played the guy who blew up.
Yeah.
And he was giving a lecture on psychopathy.
Yes.
I thought he played that really well. He's a great comic actor, so I just, you know.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that he was obviously testing Sandra, he was testing Eve, wasn't she, to see what her responses were to a sudden image of brutality.
She was the only one that didn't look away.
And she was the only one. Yeah, so again, I just feel that we've got the point that there's a parallel. We've got the point that there's a parallel psychopathy going on here.
Yeah, okay.
Don't you think?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah. You sound like you like this episode less and less.
Well, I liked it better than last week's.
Did
I
you?
thought last week's was a real low spot, actually.
It was. It was
But,
boring.
Well, I wouldn't go as far as to say boring, because they're eminently watchable.
I thought last week's was boring.
Yeah, I do know what you mean, though. And there's no script to...
But again, for me,
the
the greatest moments in Killing Eve are like when she has the room service guy stroking her head.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
you know, they're sort of, again, subservient to script, subservient to narrative, subservient to the plot moving on. They're little layers of surreal characterization.
They are, but
really
I feel
indulgent.
even they in themselves could get boring eventually, because
true.
it's like we said about these sort of odd acts of violence that she has, kicking people and whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, they're charming in the beginning and funny because you're not expecting them, but then you start to think, well, you've done that before.
No, I agree.
But
so then we got sent. So Eve then gets sent flowers. She gets sort of aroused by the prospect of being the centre of attention for Villanelle, and says to her husband, "I want to go upstairs and have a bit of jiggy jiggy." And he runs upstairs. Now, again, I felt I'd seen that a lot in the first series.
Yeah.
She gets aroused by being sent a dress or
something. I
something.
thought he was better in last night's episode, though. He's an odd actor, but
I just
he
feel
was
like
better.
we've trod on all these story
all
these plot points. I mean, if I was looking at it as plot points, I don't feel the story has moved on. And if the ghost is supposed to be bringing a new layer to it...
Yeah, I would agree with that, yeah.
The ghost was pushed too far back as well. So we're leaning on shots of them looking at themselves and each other a lot.
Yeah, true.
And then Villanelle arrives at her gaff, which was another... We had a scene like this in the first series, where she was in the kitchen with her with a knife.
Thinking about it, they threw that away. I mean, surely we're working towards them being together on screen, and then what happens? Nothing.
Well, she strolls up a suburban garden path in a very matter-of-fact manner.
Yeah, but then even being in, I mean...
In her house?
Yeah, with a veil and looking mysterious and take your shoes off and into the thing. I mean...
But that scene in the first series, we had exactly that scene where they were at the table, she had a knife.
Yeah.
I thought Sandra Oh played it brilliantly in the first series because as a character development, she'd hit that scene for the first time.
Yeah,
and they were they were both asked to do the same thing again.
Yeah, exactly.
Around the arsenic tablet thing, I thought was a clever conceit that she took them, she didn't take them. Was she going to take them? She was showing that she was more of a psychopath than even Villanelle gave her credit for.
Yeah.
So that was a moment of kind of realisation for Villanelle, which I thought was quite nice.
Yeah, yeah.
And that, I guess, on paper was the purpose of resetting the scene and having this scene.
I suppose so, yeah. But they threw it away
I thought they threw it away, because then she took arsenic. It was weird. It sort of built to a crescendo, but didn't have a crescendo.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I'm liking it less as we go on with this review.
Do you agree? I mean, do you agree?
I mean, I was diverted.
I know you think that we're being overly harsh on Sandra Oh. I don't think it's all Sandra Oh's fault. That's my point.
Yeah.
I think there are moments where she's like she wasn't. She hasn't got a lot to discover about her character.
No, you're quite right in that respect. So it's nothing to do with Sandra. I mean, the thing is, I find she says a lot with her face in the same way as Jodie Comer does, which you don't, do you? So in that respect, maybe she's just standing there with the camera on her. Yeah. But
what did you make of the ghost being taken to the Forest of Dean
and
put in that sort of
all of that
oil tanker?
Could have been very exciting.
Could have been, couldn't it? And very visual.
Yeah, and the sort of long shots and the long thing and all of that, and Villanelle standing outside. Yeah. And I suppose we knew, didn't we, that then Villanelle was going to go in and do something so despicable that they couldn't even show us
but you know what
in last night's episode.
Well, absolutely. But do you know what disappointed me
maybe
about...
she's cut her womb out or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Something like that. Because I thought, you know what I thought was going to happen? I thought she'd cut her in half, and that as
she was going to flop.
She was going to flop.
Yeah, now that would. Well, I think you should be the bloody writer.
But then I thought, no, if she's sitting there all in one, that she's cut her womb out or something. So
well, it wasn't revealed to us what happened,
wasn't,
was it?
So
That's where it ended. Is that where it ended?
Yes.
So, but you see, my other disappointment was the fact that now, in a weird way, Eve has recruited Villanelle.
Yes.
To liaise with the ghost has also punctured the build.
Yeah.
It's punctured. They're now in a very screwed up way colleagues.
Oh, actually, that's quite clever though when you say it.
Not really, because it's killed any of the it's killed all the tension between them. So therefore, at that point, I'm thinking, right, the ghost must have something on all of them, and then we go in and she's a gibbering wreck, just sat there. What's happened to her? I mean, we don't know what's happened to her.
The two keys between the both of them are Constantine and Fiona Shaw.
Yeah.
The ones that we need to know more, and the ones that...
Well, did you hear me say last week, I think they're both her dad.
Yeah.
Her mum and dad.
Yeah, they're keeping that as... And maybe we've guessed the secret already, because hopefully they're keeping that for the end, because there needs to be something.
Yeah. And then the only other detail in this episode was that Eve intercept the hubby in Oxford.
Oh yeah, I quite like that.
I quite like that scene, and you were sort of laughing at how she was wearing the
whole
classic
high fashion, high fashion sort of Stella McCartney sort of idea of Oxford
look. Yeah, I like that, and I thought that was a good scene. I like that, but. You see,
incidentally, her clothes are fantastic.
They are. They really are. I think that would be a really rich vein. I mean, they're going there, but I think I would have spent more time in this series with her manipulating her husband and getting to her in a very different way.
Yeah, and I got, quite excited at the idea where they're very close and she says, "I didn't think you had it in you."
Yeah.
That they could have done something with that.
Yeah, and I also think that we're now at episode 5. I think that she could have been spending a lot more time Machiavellian style-y, sort of manipulating his life, getting him into trouble.
Yeah.
She could have destroyed Eve through her husband.
Yeah, or she could have had a relationship with him.
Precisely.
That would have been brilliant.
Precisely, yeah. But
I think I should be writing this.
I think you should. And I also definitely think the ghost should have been cut in half and her body should flop.
The ghost was a big misstep.
What is the ghost? Come on, guys, tell us what we're missing about the ghost. What are we missing about the ghost?
The ghost was better when she was ghosting and she was just a figure leaving the thing, wasn't she?
Yeah, when you just saw... Yeah, absolutely.
The moment she's become real, I have to say, is a bit boring.
That's Constantine. He's landing in the garden because I said I would have put him in my pocket. Okay, well, that's it. So would you say that this was as good as you thought it was? Is it?
It's still absolutely. I have to see it. I have to see it.
It's appointment to view.
Appointment.
It is appointment to view. We're not saying it's not.
No.
But yeah.